Jai Sri Krishna. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 7, the son of a Drona punished. Here in the verse 36, it was mentioned that a person who knows the principles of religion doesn't kill an enemy who is careless, intoxicated, insane, asleep, afraid, or devoid of his chariot. Nor does he kill a boy, a woman, a foolish creature, or a surrendered soul. So here it is mentioned that matam paramatam unmatam suptam balam triyam jadam praponnam bhaitham vitam bhairatham vitam naripum hanti dharma vitam. It means here the purport is an enemy who doesn't resist is never killed by a warrior who knows the principle of religion. Formally, battles were fought on the principle of religion and not for the sake of senses gratification. If the enemy happened to be intoxicated, asleep, etc., as above mentioned, he was never to be killed. These are some of the code of religion's war. Formerly, war was never declared by the whims of self-political leaders. It was carried out on a religious principle free from all the vice. Violence carried out on a religious principle is far superior to so-called non-violence. So here in the verse 37 it was mentioned that and a cruel and worst person who maintain his existence at the cost of other lives deserve to be killed for his own well-being. Otherwise, he will go down by his own action. So here it is mentioned, Sopronamyah Parapranyah Propyushatrishkrunah Khalah Tad तद्वदस तस्य हि श्रेयो यद्दोषोद यात्री अधः पुमं puman. So here it is mentioned here the purport is a life for a life is just punishment for a person who cruelly and shamelessly lives at the cost of another life. Political morality is to punish a person by a death sentence in order to save a cruel person from going to hell. That a murderer is condemned to a death sentence by the state is good for the culprit because in this next life he will not have to suffer for his act of murder. Such a death sentence for the murderer is the lowest possible punishment offered to him, and it is said in the Smritis Shastras that men who are punished by the king on the principle of life for a life are purified at their sins, so much so that they may be eligible for being promoted to the planet of heaven. According to Manu, the great author of civic code and religious principles, even the killer of an animal is to be considered a murderer because animal food is never meant for civilized man, who prime whose prime duty is to prepare himself for going back to Godhead. He says that in the act of killing an animal there is a regular conspiracy by the party of a sinners, and all of them are liable to be punished as murderers exactly like a party of a conspirator who kill a human being combinedly. He who give permission, he who kill the animal, he who sells the slaughter animal, he who cooks the animal, he who administer distribution the food stuff, and at least he who eats such cooked animal food are all murderers, and all of them are liable to be punished by the law of nature. No one can create a living being despite all the advancement of material science, and therefore no one has the right to kill a living being by one's independent whims. For the animal eaters, the scripture have sanctioned restricted animal sacrifice only, and such sanctions are there just to restrict the opening of a slaughterhouse and not to encourage animal killing. The procedure under which animal sacrifice is allowed in the scripture is good both for the animal sacrifice and the animal eaters. It is good for the animals in the sense that the sacrificed animal is at once promoted to the human form of the life after being sacrificed at the altar, and the animal eaters is saved from a grosser type of sin. Eating meat supplied by the organized slaughterhouse, which are graciously placed for the breeding all kind of material applications to society, country, and other in general. The material world is itself a place always full of anxieties, and by encouraging animal shelters, the whole atmosphere becomes polluted more and more by war, pel- pestilence, famine, and many other unwanted calamities. So here in this verse, it is basically telling the cruel and the worst person who maintain his existence at the cost of other life deserve to be killed. Who are going to be killed? That it is mentioned in this verse. And this is in the context of Sodoma only, because he killed the five children of Draupadi. That's why he is the eligible for the death, although he is the son of a Brahmana or Bandhus of Brahmana. So here in the next verse in 38 it was mentioned that furthermore I have personally heard you promise Draupadi. Means here Lord Sri Krishna telling to Arjuna that I have personally heard you promise Draupadi that you would bring forth the head of the killers of her sons. So here it is mentioned Pratishrutam cha bhavata panchali sambhoto mama ahin ahirsre sirase tasya yasati manini putraha. It means here Lord Shri Krishna telling to Arjuna that you had already promised to Draupadi that you will kill the culprit of her son. So in the next verse it was mentioned that this man means here Aswathama, this man and Asian and murderer of your own family members. Not only that, but he has also dissatisfied his master. He is but the burnt remembrance of his family kill him immediately. So here it is mentioned tada asau bhadyantam papo asyatta atmamandho bhartau cha viriyambira krutavan kulapasanaha. It means here the purport is the son of Dronacharya is condemned here at the burnt remembrance of his family. He, the good name of Dronacharya was very much respected. Although he joined the enemy camps, the Pandavas held him always in respect, and Arjuna saluted him before beginning the fight. There was nothing wrong in that way, but the son of Dronacharya degraded himself by committing acts which are never done by the teachers or the twice born higher caste. Aswathama, the son of Dronacharya, committed murder by killing the five sleeping sons of Draupadi, but by which he dissatisfied his master Dronacharya, Duryodhana, who never approved of the heinous act of killing the five sleeping sons of Pandavas. This means that Ashwatthama becomes a usurper of Arjuna's own family members and thus he was liable to be punished by him. In the Shastras, he who attacks without notice or killing from behind or set fire to another house or kidnap one's wife is condemned to death. Krishna reminded Arjuna of this fact so that he might take notice of them and do the needful. So here in the next verse it was mentioned that Sutta Goswami said, although Krishna, who was examining Arjuna in religion, encouraged Arjuna to kill the son of Dronacharya. Arjuna, a great soul, did not like the idea of killing him. Although Aswathama was a heinous murderer of Arjuna family's member. So here it is mentioned, Sut Uvacha, Evam Parikshata Dharmamam Partham Parthaha Krishnena Chaditaha Chandatum Guru Sutam Yada Atmahanam Mahanam. So here it is mentioned here the purport is Arjuna was a great soul undoubtedly, which is proved here also. He is encouraged here in personally by the Lord Sri Krishna to kill the son of Drona. But Arjuna considered that the son of his great teacher should be spared, for he happens to be the son of Dronacharya, even though he is an unworthy son, having done all sorts of heinous acts whimsically for no one's benefit. Lord Sri Krishna encouraged Lord Arjuna outwardly just to test Arjuna's sense of duty. It is not that Arjuna was incomplete in the sense of duty, nor was Lord Sri Krishna unaware of Arjuna's sense of duty, but Lord Sri Krishna put to the test many of his pure devotees just to magnify the sense of duty. The gopis were put to such tests as well. Prahlad Maharaj also was put to such a test. All pure devotees becomes out successfully in the respective test by Lord Sri Krishna. Lord. So here in the next verse it was mentioned that after reaching his own camp, Arjuna along with his dear friend and charioteer Lord Sri Krishna entrusted the murder onto his dear wife who was lamenting for her murdered son. So here it is mentioned that Atho Vede Swam Siviram Govinda Priya Sarathihi Naivedayat Tam Priyayi Sochitya Atmajanhantan. So here it is mentioned the transcendental religion of Krishna, the transcendental religion of Arjuna with Krishna is of the dearmost friendship. In the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the Lord Himself has claimed Arjuna as his dearmost friend. Every living being is thus related with the Supreme Lord by some sort of affectionate relation, either as a servant or as a friend or as parents or as a subject of conjugal love. Everyone thus can enjoy the company of a Lord in the spiritual realm if he at all desires and sincerely tries for it by the process of bhakti yoga. So here in the next verse, so in this verse it is clearly mentioned that everyone will try to be get a relation with Lord Sri Krishna, either in the form of a friend, either in the form of a conjugal love, or father, mother, or with a transcendental love. So here in the next verse it was mentioned that Sri Suta Goswami said Draupadi then saw Aswathama. After the Arjuna, Lord Sri Krishna and the murderer Aswathama came to the camp, Draupadi then saw Aswathama, who was wounded with a rope like an animal and silent for having enacted the most inglorious murder. Due to her female nature and due to her being naturally good and well behaved, she showed him due respect as a Brahmana. So here in this mention, ततः रतं पशुभत पाशबन्धनम् अवनमुक्तं कर्म जुगुप्सितेति निरीक्ष्य कृष्णप्रकृतं गुरुसुतं भाम स्वभं कृपया नवनायं च. It means here the purport is Aswathama was condemned by the Lord himself and he was treated by Arjuna just like a culprit, not like a son of a Brahmana or teachers. But when he was brought himself, Srimati Draupadi, she although be craved for the murderer of her sons, and although the murderer was present before her, could not withdraw the due respect generally offered to be the Brahmana or the son of a Brahmana. This is due to her mild nature as a woman. Women as a class are not better than boys, and therefore they have no discriminatory power like that of a man. Aswathama proved himself to be an unworthy son of Dronacharya or of a Brahmana, and for this reason he was condemned by the greatest authority Lord Sri Krishna, and yet a mild woman could not withdraw her natural courtesy for a Brahmana. Even to death in a Hindu family, a woman shows proper respect to the Brahmana caste. However fallen and ignorance of a Brahmana Bandhu may be, but the men have begun to protect against Brahmana Bandhu who are born in the families of a good Brahmanas but by action or less than Sudras. The specific word used in this sloka is bhamo, bhobha, mild or gentle by nature. A good man or woman accepts anything very easily, but a man of average intelligence doesn't do the so. But anyway, we should not give up our reason and discriminatory power just to be gentle. One must have good discriminatory power to judge a thing on its merit. We should not follow the mild nature of a woman and thereby accept that which is not genuine. Aswatthama may be respected by a good natured woman, but that does not mean that he is a good as a genuine Brahmana. So here in the next verse it was mentioned that she could not means Draupadi could not tolerate Aswatthama being bounded by rope because he is a Brahmana. He was a Brahmana. He was a son of a Brahmana, means the Brahmana Bandhu, and being a devoted lady, she said, release him, for he is a Brahmana or our spiritual master. So here it is mentioned, Vacha chasahante asya bandhanam nayanam santim muchyatam मुच्यतम ऐसा Pravananitaram Guruhu. So here it is mentioned Here the purport is as soon as Ashwatthama was brought before Draupadi, she thought it is intolerable that a Brahmana should be arrested like a culprit and brought before her in that condition, especially when the Brahmana happened to be a teacher's son. Arjuna arrested Ashwatthama, knowing perfectly well that he was the son of Dronacharya. Krishna also knew that him to be so, and but both of them condemned the murder without consideration of his being the son of a Brahmana. According to revealed scripture, a teacher or a spiritual master is liable to be rejected if he proves himself unworthy of the position of a guru or spiritual master. A guru is called also an acharya, or a person who has personally assimilated all the essence of shastras and has helped his disciples to adopt the way. Ashwatthama failed to discharge the duties of the brahmanas or teacher, and therefore he was liable to be rejected from the exalted position of a Brahmana. On this consideration, both Lord Sri Krishna and Arjuna were right in condemning Ashwatthama, but to a good lady like Draupadi, the matter was considered not from the angle of a shastric person, but as a matter of custom. By custom, Ashwatthama was offered the same respect as offered to his father. It was so because generally the people accept the son of a Brahmana as the real Brahmana by sentiment only. Factually, the matter is different. A Brahmana is accepted on the merit of a qualification and not on the merit of simply being the son of a Brahmana. But in spite of all this, Draupadi desired that Ashwatthama be at once released, and it was all the same as a good sentiment for her. This means that a devotee of the Lord can tolerate all sort of tribulation personally, but still such a devotee are never unkind to others, even the enemy, even to the enemy. These are the characteristic of one who is pure devotee of Lord. So here in the next verse it was mentioned that it was by Dronacharya mercy that you learned the military act of throwing arrow and the confidential act of the controlling oven. So here it is mentioned Dara Saradhyasyo Dhanusvedaha Sarviguna Gopasarmayanmanah Astragramaha Chabhava Sik- Siksito Yada Anugrahyata. It means here the purport is Dhanurveda or military science was taught by Dronacharya with all its confidential secret of for throwing and controlling the Vedic humans. Gross military science is depends on the material weapons, but finer than that is the act of throwing the arrow saturated with the Vedic humans, which acts more effectively than gross material weapons like machine gun or atomic bombs. The control is by Vedic mantras or the transcendental science of sound. It is said in the Ramayana that Maharaja Dhritarashtra, Maharaja Dasharatha, sorry, the father of Lord Sri Rama, used to control arrows by sound only. He could pierce his target with his arrow by only hearing the sound without seeing the object. So this is a finer military science than that of the gross military weapons used nowadays. Arjuna was taught all this, and therefore Draupadi wished that Arjuna feels obligated to Acharya Drona for all these benefits, and in the absence of Dronacharya, his son was his representative. That was the opinion of the good lady Draupadi. It may be argued when Dronacharya, a rigid Brahmana, should be a teacher in the military science, but the reply is that a Brahmana should become a teacher, regardless of what his department of knowledge is. A learned Brahmana should become a teacher, a priest, and a recipient of charity. A bona fide a bona fide Brahmana is authorized to be accept such a profession. So here it is mentioned that those who are following the um, principle of the scriptures or learn the qualities of the Brahmana, whether regardless of what his department of knowledge, he will be called as a learned Brahmana. It may be the teacher's, he may be the teacher's priest or a recipient of charity. Jai Jagannath, Jai Sri Krishna.